This is Karen with My I'm Possible Dream, and I'm at the Milestones office today. Yes, that's Milestones, and we're going to tell you more about what Milestones really is. I'm not going to give you all the information. It's Milestones Autism Resources, but that's not up to me to tell you more. I am with Allison Peterson, and I'm going to ask her a little bit about this conference that I attended. It was a couple weeks ago. It was at the IX Center, and Alex and I were asked to speak at one of the workshops. And actually, Alex did all the speaking. I just sat there and listened, and it was quite interesting because I heard things from my son that he hasn't really shared in the past. And I thought that was, quite remarkable for someone who's on the spectrum. But what I found even more interesting were the amount of people who showed up at this conference and the variety of people. It just wasn't doctors and caregivers, but it was a huge variety, and if I saw the numbers correctly, almost 1,000 people attended. And so, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Allison. And Allison, tell me how the conference got started and why you even have one.
Hi, Karen. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
The conference Milestones Autism Resources was started 13 years ago from Alana Hoffer-Scoff and Mia Buchwald-Gellis, and they wanted to, from their own experience, to bring a conference to Cleveland and to help educate people like themselves and people who have children or with autism or who have autism as an adult, and really have a resource and bring in experts from the area and from really all around the country to better educate and provide practical hands-on strategies to help people with autism. So that's how things started.
So, these two wonderful women who I've met personally, do both of them have family members on the spectrum?
They do. They both have a child on the spectrum.
So that was the beginning of their interest.
For sure. Yes.
Okay. And back in those days, there really wasn't anything like a Milestones.
Right. And they felt that they needed a place to go and a place for other people to go for the right direction and where the right direction and to serve them of whatever their needs were at all ages and stages of the spectrum.
Well, you obviously were doing that at the conference because we had parents of all different ages. We had people on the spectrum of all different ages. And when you look at what some of the speakers were talking about, the subject matter was wide range, almost as wide as the spectrum. So tell us a little bit more about the conference.
Thanks. We had we had 900 attendees. We had more than 90 workshops with more than 130 speakers and even 40 exhibitors. So there was really something for everyone. And like you said, we had a variety of people attending the conference. We had family members, we had educators, we had therapists, we had medical professionals, and we also had self-advocates, individuals with autism. And people felt like they were at a reunion. Parents and professionals alike were just reunited under the umbrella of autism. There was a wealth of presenters who were poised, who spoke from the heart, who spoke from their research, whatever background they were speaking from. They were really knowledgeable and inspirational. Many were self-advocates. We even had some special speakers. Our keynotes this year were really moving and motivating. On Thursday, our keynote speaker was Barry Prezant, who's a PhD and also a speech therapist and autism consultant at Brown University and in the Rhode Island area. He spoke about, his title of his talk was Uniquely Human, a Different Way of Seeing Autism. And that's what he spoke in terms of guidelines for parents and caregivers and professionals to see autism and he gave better strategies of what people should think about in serving the autism community. And then we were fortunate on Friday to have Sandra Williams, who's a speaker, author, poet, and self-advocate, talk about I am communicating, can't you hear me? And she spoke about many various ways that people with autism communicate and how we need to recognize that, any different way of communicating, and that language is something that should be shared. Some of the main messages of the conference were that the people talked a lot about employment, socialization, education, and mainly about persistence. And persistence was a major theme. This was how a lot of, especially parents, found a higher quality of life for their children, or how self-advocates found a higher quality of life for themselves. And around persistence, they also spoke that sometimes you might fail a few times. Then you gather up a team around you, you assess things. If they're not going according to the plan, you make necessary changes and you keep trying again. Each time you learn something new, and that those who succeeded had to pick themselves up, but they used their resources, they did their homework to find what they or their children needed. And it's not an easy, and they didn't take an easy road, but they were very determined to find the resources that would make the difference.
I like that comment about persistence. And what is interesting, when we were at the conference, Alex and I almost ran into one of his therapists that he worked with from, I think it was like the age of 7 to about 10, Dr. Beth Ann Martin. And I believe she was also one of your speakers. And it was interesting because Beth Ann worked with Alex on behavior modification. Behavior modification never worked for Alex, but we never figured it out. We just kept trying and trying and trying. Alex is now in therapy. Now, of course, he's 24 years old, but he's in therapy, and he's doing cognitive therapy. As soon as he saw Dr. Martin, he went up to her and he said, I know why I never listened to you. And she said, why? And he said, it's not about my behavior. It's about how I think. And she goes, I never thought about that myself. And she said, thank you for sharing that. And even as a parent, I never thought about that either. But Alex had figured it out, and when he found this new therapist, the first thing he said was, I will not go through behavioral therapy. And the therapist said, at your age, actually at any age, you're too high functioning. Cognitive therapy is what you need. So yeah, persistence.
It's so interesting. And it's interesting too because I don't know if this is Alex's take on things, but we had also heard that the people were speaking that autism didn't have to define them, that they could, the more even they were told that what they couldn't do, the more fuel that they had to prove people wrong and to find ways to succeed.
Right.
That's clearly what Alex sounds like he did.
Well, he was told by a county official that he would never complete high school without assistance, which he did. He was told he'd never go to college. In May, he got his bachelor's degree.
Wonderful.
So he did. The third was he would end up living in a halfway house pushing a broom. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. He still doesn't have a full-time job, so if anybody wants to offer him a good full-time job, that's fine. But he is working. And so he does have the persistence. That day when he was told that, he said, I'm going to prove you wrong.
That's wonderful. It is. And that leads me, I was just thinking, something new. We had a lot of new elements at the conference this year. And one, based on what we really made a focus on was having accommodations for individuals with autism, both as presenters and as attendees. This just really added to the inspirational level of the conference. People got something very different. First, they heard firsthand experiences, and people themselves felt that their voice was heard because they were part of the conversation. And this, like I said, was a major focus through our work. We had an adult services committee specifically for the conference. They gave us the feedback, and we worked together to make the conference extra and even more inviting and accessible. to everyone.
Absolutely. Well, we heard some of those other young adults speak, and they're all amazing.
They really, I mean, they really, really are. We heard people spoke about their experiences with self disclosure, and just that being having it as a part of their life. And what actually one Rochelle Nyer, one of the conference co-chairs, who's also a speech therapist, she had a really interesting thought about it, because she said that listening to a person on the spectrum is the best way to become a better professional, and I think that sums it up so much.
Absolutely.
I mean, and that's something that you can't hear anywhere else. This was such a unique aspect to the conference this year.
Very good. So tell us more about, how did you find your speakers? Because you had some you don't know how you found your speakers. Did they just come to you?
It's a little bit of both. We
Okay.
had some recommendations, and we consulted with people that we have had in the past, and as well as people that we had referrals from other sources.
Okay, because you just had such a wide range of wonderful speakers out there. You had some authors, you had teachers, you just had such a wide range. I just wondered, do you have a committee that just sits there and filters through?
We do. We have a lot of committees, and we take a lot of referrals, but then we also invite people, if they want to present and they submit their topics,
Right.
and they go through the right criteria, that they could present. So we had a lot of local representation from Cuyahoga County Board of Developmental Disabilities, the county board, CCBDD. We had representatives from different schools. We had a teacher plus students from Kenston High School who spoke about a workshop that they do called Creating Exceptional Character, CEC, and it's about making things inclusive for everyone and building character and being open-minded and teaching high school kids this. And it's a workshop, plus it's an after-school activity. So we had just a variety, and I know there was a few people that returned to our conference that have spoken before, who come from Harvard, who come from San Francisco, who come from all sorts of places all over the country. So we're very fortunate for both the people that keep coming back to present in different subjects, as well as the people that were new. Like I said, both from a local perspective, a state perspective, and even a national perspective. It really makes the conference that much more enriching.
Absolutely. And this year you also had something extra. You had bus service.
We did. A county board provided bus service from 2 locations on the east side and the west side, so that helped make things accessible to everybody if they needed transportation. And we also had some sponsored tracks this year through our collaboration with our partners. Actually, CCBDD was the sponsor of the Adult Services track. We worked with Cleveland Clinic Children's and University Hospitals, Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital. They sponsored the medical track. And then this year, actually, what was very new was that we had a visual supports and technology track, and that was sponsored by the Monarch Center for Autism, which was really, which was a real interesting, aspect of the conference as well. So that made things a little bit different this year.
So you had a lot of new things this year.
We did, and actually we had something that came together on Thursday. We had a sponsor and a professional lunch sort of combined, and it ended up featuring a panel of presenters speaking about opportunities for all. And it was a look at what was being done on the national, state, and county levels to enhance employment opportunities for individuals with developmental disabilities. And as part of this presentation, we showed our video. We have a video called Milestones Roadmap to Adulthood that started off this presentation, and then we were so fortunate that we had 3 speakers. We had Maria Town, who's the Associate Director of the White House Office for Public Engagement. We had Kevin Miller, the Director of Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities based in Columbus. And we also had Kelly Petty, the Superintendent of the Cuyahoga County Board of Developmental Disabilities. So they spoke on what was going on in terms of employment opportunities for people with developmental disabilities, on both, like I said, on a county, state, and national level. And we were very fortunate to have that come together. Maria Town, speaking on behalf of this White House office, actually spoke a lot about the upcoming 25th anniversary of the American with Disabilities Act. And actually in Cleveland, she's helping the Cleveland organizers. It's being celebrated on July 22nd at Wade Oval. It's a Wednesday, and starting from 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. will be free activities at Wade Oval. I think getting kicked off with announcements from Mayor Frank Jackson, and then also in the evening from I think 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock, rain or shine is part of the Wow Wade Oval Wednesday activities that happen weekly. But this one on July 22nd is focused on the ADA's 25th anniversary. So there's more information on the adacleveland.org, but that's something that was real exciting, and I think there's going to be some new announcements or new initiatives happening once this anniversary takes place. But it was just a real interesting panel to have.
Well, I'll tell you, that law really came in handy for Alex. His last semester in college, his rights were violated as a student. They did not use his IEP. In fact, they claimed they didn't have it. He wasn't given the accommodations he needed, and he basically failed his class. But Alex was smart enough to do some research, and he brought up that law, plus he found a case regarding non-use of an IEP, and he appealed his grade, and he won. So, it's not like Alex wants to flaunt that he has a disability, because he doesn't think of autism as a disability. He says autism is a different ability. But there are times that having the awareness and having some special accommodations are absolutely needed. And if you have them, you need to stand up for your rights. So I'm so glad that you had them at the conference, and we could learn more about that.
We really could, and I think it'll be interesting to once, even at this recognition of the anniversary, of how much more what's to recognize what's been happening over the last 25 years and what's still yet to come, and any new advancements and initiatives that will come from it. So I think it's done a lot of good.
So you're still compiling information from the conference. Are you starting on next year's conference yet?
We're thinking about it, and we're already getting things going for that. So, but we've already, we're compiling our all of our feedback and just all of our information from the conference. But we've been really getting a lot of feedback in a positive way from the conference. Just in the level that it was so collaborative, and that people are together from all areas of support for individuals with autism, and it's just a great way. The conference just raises the bar really on the enhancing the knowledge and practice, both in Cleveland and all over the country. So we're very fortunate, for that kind of feedback, and that that it helps direct where things go in the future as well.
Is there anybody in particular who has commented to you, telling you how they felt about the conference?
Yes, we've gotten a lot of great feedback especially from Tracy Masterson. She's also one of the conference co-chairs, and she really felt that the conference was a reunion of parents and professionals, and that the best way to serve the autism community is through this collaborative approach, and that people are just really here from all areas of support, and it's just a wonderful place to be. And actually Gina Edgehouse from the Julie Billiard School, told me that she attends the Milestones Conference to be part of something bigger than the 12 kids that she teaches. And the conference gives her a place to go to and reference, so that she can take her students lead her students in even a better direction than she already was going. So it really showed. What she also told me was that it just gives her such a bigger picture, that it's not just the experiences that she's seeing, but there's even more to look at and more to consider, and there's a lot of different aspects to think about. And this conference, and really Milestones through the year, all year round, is a way to connect her to whatever she might need and help educate her in more ways, every year.
Well, that's absolutely right, and her comment even goes, a hundredfold for a parent, because being at the conference and talking to other parents, seeing other young adults speak like Alex did, I realized that it's not just Alex. Because there are days that you go home and you look at your child and you think, is he the only one? How do I deal with this? But when you see that he is functional and these other young men are functional, we didn't see too many young women speak, but there are more males on the spectrum than there are females. But it was interesting that I walked out of there too, knowing that there is a future. Impossible does mean I'm possible. And I saw that also in the caregivers, that they were walking out knowing that their job is no longer really a job, because there's something they can do. They can do it differently.
Sure.
And
sure.
Just going to your website
Mm-hmm.
is refreshing, because the other day I was feeling down about something and I went out there and I started reading some materials, and it was like, oh yeah, look at those resources.
You're right. I'm so glad you mentioned our website, because really Milestones, the conference was incredible, was inspirational, was very educational, but that happens for 2 days, and after that, Milestones is here year round. We're not just 2 days. So, year round, anybody can go on our website and access anything online for free. There's a tab for toolkits. There's many various toolkits, to whether it's about leisure skills and how to help your child, be home during the summer without as much structure. There's a leisure skills toolkit. There's a toolkit about travel tips if you're heading out on a vacation this summer. There's an online calendar, and I know somebody just told me that there's more than 40 social activities going on just in this month. So if you need to try something new, if you need to get out of the house for whatever the reason, go on our calendar. There's things for all ages, all locations all around the city, even things in the metro parks, things outside, inside, all sorts of activities. There's information on our website to find a support group. There you can sign up to get our newsletter. You could read our past newsletters. Our website, our website, I didn't mention it, is milestones.org, just as it's spelled, milestones.org, and you can really find anything you need online. But and then even besides our website, Milestones, our 4 main areas are the conference, our online resources through our website, and we also focus on coaching and consultations, as well as teen and adult services. And I have to say, we have a dedicated staff for coaching that's available to anyone and their family to navigate whatever you're experiencing. At this time of the year, if you're preparing the transition back to school, if you're needing help, if you have to handle IEP issues, if you're preparing even to go to a new building in the fall, whatever it is, just call us, 216-464-7600. You can send an email to info@milestones.org and somebody can direct you, or you can even find information initially online on milestones.org's website. And we also have a dedicated team for teen and adult services, and we are very fortunate. We have Beth Thompson, who's the teen and adult services manager, and this is really her specialty. And through her work, she focuses on transition planning, employment, housing, medical, and post-secondary education. So she's available to help coach and consult in whatever areas of those services you might need. And it's just, a really great way to help navigate whatever is going on. And like I said, when you walk away from the conference, but hopefully our conference has also brought practical hands-on strategies that sometimes was heard from a first-hand experience. And these are tried and true strategies that people talk about at our conference, that either parents have tried themselves, individuals who live it every day, or professionals who researched it. So it's just so even hopefully anybody who was at the conference has these major takeaways that they can implement, like in their lives, professionally and personally.
And I think it's really important that we not be afraid to make that phone call, send that email, go out on the website, ask for help. I know for many years, I just kept returning to Alex's medical team, and they kept, telling me the same thing over and over and over again. And what they were telling me really wasn't working great. It was working, but it wasn't working great. Um, and I probably should have stepped out of the box, but I didn't. Now Alex is older, and I realize that if milestones had been available when he was younger, that would have been phenomenal for us. Doesn't mean that everything that you're going to lead us to is going to be perfect for our child,
Of course.
but it's going to be an opportunity to look at. It's a possibility. And we all need those possibilities to look at. Um, no two autistic children are alike, but then again, no two traditional children are alike either. So don't think that your autistic child is stranger than anybody else. They've got those great gifts, and we got to find them. We got to find their passions and work on them. So you have some other events coming up.
We do. We have Autism All Stars, which is with other autism organizations at the Lake County Captains Game on Sunday, September 6th at 6:30 p.m. And on our website we have some information about that. You can also check it out on milestones.org. And then we also have a benefit coming up. Our annual benefit is Saturday, December 5th, 2015, and more information will follow about that. So those are our next two big events. But if anybody is hearing this or is coming from the conference and also is interested in other ways to be involved with Milestones, we always are welcome to we have volunteer opportunities at all different times of the year. They're in our office. They're welcome to call us at 216-464-7600 or info@milestones.org and find out more, and what they're based on what you're interested in or what we have going on at the time. There's all different ways to help all the time.
Very good. And what we're going to be doing, Allison, as we move forward is we're going to be coming back to Milestones hopefully once a month, and we're going to either talk about an event that you're having, or maybe there's a family who wants to share their story, how Milestones is helping them. Maybe your volunteers want to tell us why they're volunteering. I know you have an internship program. I'm sure that they're learning a lot. Why do they want to even intern at Milestones? Autism is not going away. In fact, Alex says this in every speaking engagement that he makes. When he was first diagnosed, 1 out of 1,000. Today, it's 1 out of 68. That means that our future people who will be directing us in our world are most likely on the spectrum if they aren't already. So we need the awareness, we need the opportunities, and Milestones can lead you. They're not going to cure you, but they're going to lead you to opportunities. And that's what we all need.
Right, and like I said, our name is Milestones Autism Resources, and we really, provide the resources and the direction to help people at whatever age and stage that they or their child are in terms of to really serve the autism community in any way that we can, and we hope to really help anybody who needs it, whether it's on a personal level through a coaching service, whether it's through our online resources. The toolkits are very valuable. We had a stack of them at the conference at our table, and they were all gone. And whether it's potty training, whether it's leisure skills, whether there's toolkits for all different elements and all different activities, and also through our teen and adult services to help people, once they're transitioning in high school and also out into adulthood, we really hope to, be there for them and help them in that stage as well. So like I said, it's all ages and stages and all different ability levels. We're here to help direct everybody to the resources that hopefully they'll need, and if it doesn't work, to the next resources, and to keep working and working to make it the best possible.
Well, we certainly appreciate everything that Milestones Autism Resources is doing, and really wish you had been around in the 1990s when Alex was diagnosed, but I'm glad you're around now, and we will continue to support you, and we look forward to talking to you next month.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.